There it is. Okay. So now the final test is I just got a new customer. I want to stand up a new client, and they have a different maybe theirs is Power Wheels, Florida. So I have a different client with a different custom value, and I am going to go and update that to Power Wheels Florida. Hit submit here. This should say Power Wheels Florida. We did it.
That was the end result you just saw. Now here is everything that led up to it.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Hey, good. Appreciate it.
No problem. Yeah, just pass over the share to me. I think probably what would help is I'll teach a little bit, and then we kind of like move on to like what you're doing, and then obviously, then you could become the teacher if that makes sense.
Okay.
Teach the teacher.
Yeah, I think, can you share your screen then?
Let's take a look. Yes. So anyways, my name is Jacob. I know we haven't formally met. I comment a lot because it's been helping me learn high level.
Yeah.
By kind of helping other people and work on my own little projects and stuff. But let me go ahead and open up this Zap template and kind of just give you an idea and open up the API. There's two different versions of the API. You've probably heard that a million times. Primarily, everybody's using the public API right now for its simplicity. OAuth 2 is a lot more complicated, and I personally haven't even dove into it that much. Most APIs on the internet are using this style of API where it's a rather simple setup. They're not going the OAuth 2 setup. The reason that high level is going towards OAuth 2 is that there's a lot of customer data in the system, and they want a lot more security. So it kind of just makes sense. Have you already bookmarked this page right here?
No, let me
plug this into, if you want, I can dump it into the chat box if I can find it.
Oh, I got it.
Okay. I'll hide all these. Let's see. Yeah.
Okay.
So to just give you an introduction to what this is and what you're looking at, most pages that have an API page have this sort of setup, right? They'll have like maybe a logo for like Postman or some other technology. And what's cool about that though is Postman is actually a tool that you can do testing on your computer. So you can actually connect it. It says run in Postman up here, and you can actually connect this thing to an app on the computer. So I actually have the app. I'm not going to run it right now, but it's great for testing purposes. Now, for what you're going to need to use it for in high level, all the little categories over here, and let me get my little zoomy tool out because this definitely helps. So for example, if you are using a form, and when the form is submitted, it then creates a contact, right? So what we're using Zapier for is to catch our data packets, right? So let me just show this, flip back to this. I'll go back and forth to kind of explain this. Let's click backwards. Actually click into it. So for like this example was one of my affiliates, she asked me, how do I submit a form on one sub account and then have that form look up the customer and then figure out which account they're associated with that we created in a SaaS mode. So even if you are using SaaS mode, this is still a super useful template. So you can see right here that we do a workflow in high level. We send a webhook. Zapier catches that webhook to receive all that form data. And when it receives it, it's going to receive it in a format called JSON. Are you familiar with JSON, James?
Yeah, JSON.
Jason. Yeah. So it receives that payload. That's what it's referred to as payload. And then from there, then you can do something with it. So this template uses gets and puts with the APIs to accomplish the different tasks. So I try to put it in plain English right here to try to explain this.
Yeah.
So get the location ID based on the customer's email. And I'll take a look at the actions here. And so it has the link, look up by email. So to get the location ID based on the customer's email, this is where you would populate it in from the form right here. This little chunk would be the email address that it's looking up. So how will we do that? Well, under location over here, use my Zoomy tool. So we're actually doing a get location lookup. And then how is it formatted? Well, it tells you right here, we're doing a get location lookup by email. And there is our parameter. Our parameter is email, and then we're looking it up, and here's our email address. And so what's great is the documentation will tell you some examples of how to make a request, what the requirements are, and then what it's supposed to look like when it gets back. So when we do this GET request on this email, it says we need our agency API key. Okay, that's too easy. You can go get that. This is required. We have to have that in there as a parameter. This is the type of authorization. And then it just moves on to the next one. So you're like, well, okay. So this is the example. Let's move our giant faces off of the zoom in. So this is the example of response. Okay, so 200, every time you get a 200, you did something right. And this is what it's supposed to respond with, all this data right here. Oh my gosh, let me zoom out. Windows, there we go. So
how do you, are you a software developer then? How did you know all this?
I'm kind of like a amateur. I'm learning right now. I know Python, JavaScript, Java. I know a lot about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so, but once you've learned a lot of this stuff, like it'll start turning you on to learning programming pretty quickly. So it's going to spit all this stuff back in the response. And so the way you format this thing in Zapier, just to understand more about APIs. So these are all custom requests in Zapier. So if I was to make another little field down here, slow as she goes, and I do a webhook, my Zapier, and it's similar in Pabbly and some of the other tech, depending on what you're using.
Yeah.
You would then choose, they have some default options here, and then you just have a custom request. I prefer to use custom requests at each time.
You do?
Okay. Now, Pabbly and some other ones, I think it's different because when I set it up in Pabbly, it's just formatted different. And there's some pretty good YouTube videos out there for Integromat.
Yeah.
So here it is. We get the location ID based on the customer's email, and poof, that and then lets us know what the sub account is of that customer.
The location ID?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you can tell too in your accounts what the location ID is in HighLevel. So if you come in here and you go to, let's say, my agency here, and way up here at the top, this string up top is the location ID.
Right, right.
So that's what you're searching for to know, and it's querying that email address. So once we have that, we now know what sub-account our customer is sitting in with this request right here.
So you send that request and it returns a lot of information. How do you extract just the location ID out of there? Do you have to, do you just grab it out from?
Let me see if it's got some test data in here. don't think it's
Like just like any other Zap, you just kind of go in and select the thing.
Yeah. Once it's plugged in and it's listening to the trigger. Let me see if I can go find a live one so you can see a better. I'll pull up my affiliate one I use pretty often.
So are you focused more on getting more people signed up to HighLevel or getting people onto your white labeled version?
I've actually gone a lot of different directions. I've set up about 2 different SaaS modes that I'm ready to launch both of those. And now I got a partner, and me and him are just Johnny hot on this brand new project we're doing. It's going to blow your guys' minds when it's ready. But we're pretty excited about that. So I'm going in the direction of a partnership here soon that I'm going to put a lot of my time and effort into. But I have signed up a few affiliates, and so it's definitely been a valuable tool for that alone. HighLevel has paid for itself. Let's just put it that way.
Oh yeah.
And so when you do your initial thing, it will give you some data in here to play with. Let me see if it'll let me pull up the data. Show all fields, pick up the keys, the catch hook, and then it'll let you plug data into this one. Here we go. I had to click edit. Sorry. Zapier is so funny. I'm used to working in Python, which is a lot different than this, obviously. You do not need a Zapier, by the way. The Zapier is just a nice drag and drop little WYSIWYG style tool, but you can do all of this stuff in programming code significantly easier, in my opinion, than doing this. This is more for automation purposes. So these are all plugged in from my catch hook. So if I wanted to add some data in there, you click, and then you click show all options, and this is the whole data payload.
Oh, right. Okay.
So all that stuff is in there, including the different ID numbers that you need.
Yep. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, there it is right there, location ID. So now that we're caught up on that piece, so let me go back to my template. Hopefully I didn't screw up my affiliate Zap here. And let's see, home. So this is like the instance where you have a brand new SaaS mode client. To scale it, if you were to have to go in and look up this location ID for each one of them, it would take a while to do that. So what the Zap does for you is it gets that location ID for that customer based on their email, so that you don't have to look them up. And then you can run stuff after that. So this is a great purpose for the API. So get the customer's custom values and ID. So in this case, what we're going to do is actually get the custom values that are on this particular account. So let me set up the action on this and show you. So here's custom values. And then this is the setup for your headers. So authorization, bear, location ID, like that.
Well, you're gonna have to put the one in there that you had, right?
And then you'll have to do content type application /JSON, like that. So each one of your requests needs to be formatted. This is your API key right here.
Okay.
So instead of, I know I put location ID right here, but this is actually the API key on your account. So this is how you do.
Is it the master level, the master agency level API key?
In this instance, let me make sure, get the custom value fields and IDs. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So it seems like first you went and you passed in an email address, and then you wanted to get back the location ID.
Yep.
It seems like we need to use that location ID somewhere in the next step.
Right. So when you're doing custom values, this is one that trips people up. So you have to pass in 2 required fields. Here they are. And then you have to have your locations API key. So what I meant to say is not the agency level API key, but the location API key.
Okay.
And this is where you pluck it. You actually come in here, you click, and you'll be able to select that API key from this previous action.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
So it does in plain text give you the API key.
Okay.
So that's what makes this really useful to you. So not only is it getting the location ID, but it's also getting the API key.
Awesome. Awesome.
So then that allows you to do these cool chained things after it. So then we'll be getting our next, we're getting the custom values on the account. And the reason we want to get the custom values that are in that location is so that we can properly map them.
Yeah.
So on the next action, this thing is putting to the custom values. Are you familiar with get, put, push, or all these different terms?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all like right here. So it's pretty simple. Yeah. You know, obviously post is posting new data. Put is updating. So when you're updating an existing custom value, it's a put. So I put this kind of crazy looking instruction right here. Input the custom value ID here. So in order, when you look at the API and we're wanting to do a put, I'm going to click on put over here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Notice it has custom value ID right here. Mm-hmm. Ignore this this colon. I don't know why they do that. Mm-hmm. But that value has to come from that previous GET request.
Okay.
And I'll show you what that looks like. So the previous GET, oh my gosh, I get mixed up here. So here it is. So get the customers field, custom value fields and ID numbers. So when it pulls in that payload, it's also going to get each one of the custom values ID numbers. And so when you plug it in over here, this put is for a single update.
Okay, yeah.
This entire giant box right here.
One field, one value.
Is one custom value.
Yeah.
That's what makes Zapier a little bit custom, a little bit kind of annoying to work with, but you can still template out all the different ones you want to change. Yeah. So right here, you would put that exact custom value you want to change here, that by the ID number. And the data right here, let me make sure I edit this thing right here.
So for a get, you could just get everything, but for a put, you have to actually provide the information.
Yeah, so let's just say that that ID number was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It would be like that.
Okay.
And then under name and value, what it tells you is what are the requirements in order to do this put, right? So we read through this and it says the requirement is the custom value ID. Okay, got it. It's a super long number. And then it says name and value.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, the only thing you need is value on this one.
I was going to say, because of the ID, you already know the name.
Yeah, this is just the placeholder name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you actually only need that. And so all you do is follow this little format for the JSON and click right here and you plunk in your whatever value you've pulled in from your form. So this is where receiving contact form from GoHighLevel, you would click there and actually get all that data, whatever you're trying to plunk in for that value field.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. So then after that, it's fully mapped out. And then that's the final step. So you could just replicate this sort of setup. Yeah. But hopefully that gives you a much better understanding of how the APIs work with GoHighLevel.
Yeah. Yeah.
In something like programming code, you can do a lot more.
What's that?
If you go beyond this
with programming,
and it's not as complicated as it sounds. And the reason I say that is you can go here and you can choose a programming language, like a simple one. Let's say like Python, for example, request. This is the one I use.
Yeah.
And then you go and it actually tells you right here all the code to make a request.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So it already does all the hard work for you.
Yep.
And then you can learn about making a loop to loop over and over and over, and or hold a session and make it do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Cool. Well, what's your schedule like? Do you have time to try to actually get something working and actually test it and get it working? Or do you want me to kind of take it from here? And
it's up to you. I got about, let's see, about 30 to 45 minutes before my next thing. So,
okay.
Well,
yeah. What if I was to post this on my YouTube channel? I could put people in touch with you too if they want to get a hold of you for any consulting. I don't know if you're doing consulting or not.
Some, like I said, I'm pretty busy at the moment, but it's
always good to, for the right price.
Yeah, I think it's more make it. I'm still learning too, so I don't want to necessarily advertise being like some superstar or whatever.
Right.
I've watched other YouTubers do this, what I just showed you.
Gotcha.
So I would say it's more of a shout out to those guys for doing those. In fact, like if you look up, let's say GoHighLevel API, I'm pretty sure the actual one I looked up to do this, just so you can go back and watch it later. And it is a bit of digging. This is the only bad thing about it. I want to say this guy, I watched his video, learn how to. So shout out to those guys. I don't want to take credit from what they're doing.
No.
But yeah,
that's great. Okay, are you cool if I switch screens and try to get something working for Reels?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, let's do this. So, okay, so big picture here. Let's see, I got a site, let's say. So DDXWEB.com. Let's just do like a little form. So let's just make it real simple. So let's say let's say you have your Facebook URL, your Facebook page, right? So let's just call this, we'll call this Facebook page URL, okay? And so I'm gonna need a new field here. We'll add a custom field, make it text, and we'll say this is our Facebook page URL, okay? So that's that. And then we're going to, it already exists. Facebook page URL, I guess it already exists then. So let's see. So, right there, Facebook page URL. Okay. So there's Facebook page URL. And we'll save that form. And then we will end up filling that out eventually, and we could obviously embed that into a page or not. So we've got that, and then let's go ahead and make a automation, right? So create an automation, a workflow, and we will say that, hey, when that form gets submitted, then we want to kick off a webhook out, right? Is that?
Yeah. Form is submitted. Yep.
Form.
So this is a good track to follow just for a good template project.
Definitely. Page URL webhook out. Okay. So we're webhooking out. Save that, and we're going to call the webhook. We're going to get that from Zapier. So I've got your shared Zap here. Do you think, what do we got here? Catch a hook, right? So that should be good, right? Just use this webhook URL.
I was muted. Yeah, go ahead and get that.
Everything's looking good. Okay, so now we're going to post to that webhook URL right there. Okay, and we're going to publish that. I'm actually going to go out to Facebook and grab a real URL. That's an interesting idea too, because I know, sometimes you get into the weeds on the tech, but you don't step back and see the big picture from the business side of things. So here is a Facebook page, which I will get that ready to go. I'll stick that right there. Okay. Now, big picture. There it is. So I'm going to grab this. And now I'm going to go to a site. Let's just say my new funnel. Okay. Let's create from blank. And we'll do that. And we'll do this. And we'll do a headline. And we'll say my Facebook page URL is that. Okay?
Yep.
So Facebook page URL. Okay.
Sweet.
And save. And we could get the preview all ready to go. So right now it's A.
Yep.
So now we want to catch that hook. So that hook is ready to be caught. Ends in CWG. And so should we go ahead and submit it to have something to catch?
Yep. Send it in.
Submit that in. And
now to help you too on the conceptual side of things, Zapier itself can only, when you send the catch hook in, it's only sending in the contact fields and the custom contact fields. That's why we're going to have to do a separate GET request to get those custom values later. So that payload would be enormous if it included all the stuff at the agency level and everything else. So that payload is only going to be that particular contact that's flowing through that form at the time.
So so this, I just submitted that.
Yep.
And it didn't find anything.
Let's see.
Oh, there it is. It did find it.
Oh, another thing to help you too, where it says request A,
yeah,
a little bit above that. If you're doing a lot of testing and you're sending more and more, you can load up more right there.
Yeah, you can load more.
Yeah,
right?
if you have changes or more fields that you've added. Yeah, it's good for testing.
So so let's so that was this form is a little bit light. We probably really want to make that form have at least an email address in there too, right? Or what?
Sure. Yeah, whatever you want to toss in there.
I mean, let's just because how can we do a lookup without that email, right?
Right.
So, okay, let's do that then. So let's go back to forms here. And we have our Facebook page. Where was it? Facebook page URL. So I'm imagining someone's just checked out with with your SaaS. They just bought it, right? And there's their email too. Okay. Maybe we'll put that first. Maybe that's pre-populated, for example. Pre-populated or hidden.
Yeah. I would recommend that immediately following the checkout page, there's a button. Mm-hmm. And the button is a link to this form with the URL parameters on it. It helps. Then it will carry over all that data from the purchase directly into your form.
Right. So. Or there is sticky contacts too, which is here. Sticky contacts.
Supposed to work.
Yeah.
It's supposed to work, but
supposed to work.
Yeah.
Okay, so in theory now we have an email and a Facebook page URL. So how would I find the email that actually is tied to this sub account? Or what if I wanted to switch? Let's do that. So what if I wanted to put this into a different sub account? Okay. Right? So now I have my agency one. Now this is going to be the real one I want to put it into. Facebook page URL. And how would I know?
So,
how would I know what the email address of the owner is? Should I just use this one, james@powerwheelsparties.com, right? That's
that's the one you want to use. That way you can use it for the lookup.
Whoever's the main one there. So now if I refresh this page, I want to put in that email address.
Yep.
And I want to put in this. I want to put in this Facebook page URL. Now hit submit. So now it has all that.
Yeah, let's go back to the Zap.
And we go back to the Zap and go get that. Go get a new request, hopefully.
Yep.
And I've seen it struggle with this before too.
Yeah, it takes a second. Try again.
Oh, I see.
Let's see. Oh, I know. Let me think. Go to your workflow. Maybe you might not have hit settings.
I'll allow multiples, right? Too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Although it is a different contact. Go to status. Let's just make sure nothing crazy is going on.
Finished or history.
History.
There we go.
Skipped. Add to workflow. More details.
Contact is already part of this workflow.
Yeah, that's what it was. So resend them through the form, and then
okay, love it.
Yeah, that happens way too often.
I wish
Every time I build one, I forget to do that. It's fun.
I wish the default was allow multiples.
Yeah.
Okay, so that got submitted. Let's try this again. Load more. There it is. Okay, so if that's all we would expect to see James at Power Wheels Parties, there it is. And we would expect to see that Facebook page in there, which there it is as well.
Cool.
So we got that, which is great. So we continue.
Yep. And now we're going to go get his location. So what we're going to do is click on
already there.
Yep. So under setup action, where it says, click that. And it's already mapped the email, and that's funny.
Right here.
So scroll up a little bit. I just want to make sure you see how it already mapped the email?
Yeah, I saw that. That was awesome.
That's kind of nice. I didn't expect that. And so under agency API key, so you'll just paste in your agency level API.
Okay. Let's go grab that. Now, I know I made a web page. Okay, we'll do that later. Okay, so I got to go get the agency API key.
A little bit of setup.
Yeah.
But a lot of value, when it's built.
Profile. Where do I? Oh, API keys right here.
Yes, yeah, they've switched it a few times.
Grab that. Well, that's my make one, but it probably doesn't matter. It's agency API. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
Okay.
I mean, that's just the name you gave it.
All right, close your eyes. Would you just?
Don't worry.
Now, would you?
You're recording it. I'm not recording it. Don't worry.
Would you overwrite all of that?
So just the stuff in capitals. So you're going to leave the word bearer in the space after it,
like that.
and then put your key just like that. Bam.
Perfect.
Click away from it and hit continue.
Okay.
And test.
Boom.
And okay, cool. So you see it pulled it all in.
It pulled all that information back, right?
Yeah. Yep. It's good. It's got it. It's got the ID. It's got it all. So hit continue.
Okay.
Now test and continue, I guess. Oh, wait. Go to setup action.
Setup action.
Yeah. So now we got to get that custom field, or we're going to go get the custom value.
We got to pull out the location ID.
Yep.
Location ID API key is what it should say, right?
So so backspace that to the space.
Go to here and go to API.
Go to
here, location bearer
or no API. Type in API key. It's way down there.
Locations API key.
Yep.
Locations API key. Okay.
Okay.
And then continue.
Yep. And test.
And test action. So now that's going to return us back all of the custom values,
Yep.
which is just those two that we had in there, which we saw somewhere around here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with you. Okay.
And continue. Yeah.
And now we have the ability to post to that.
Yeah. Now, because we have a post would be a new value.
So it's got to be a put. It's got to be a put because it's an update because it's already there.
Yeah.
So now input custom duplicate this. So now we're going to take this and say, well, the value is going to be that Facebook page.
Now, what I recommend instead of searching right there, hit backspace and exit that insert data thing.
Okay.
See where it says 1, 2, 3 and it's receive, get.
Yeah.
We're going to plug it from where it says get the customer's custom value IDs. Click that. That way there's no mistake where it's coming from. Click show all options.
Right. Now, but if you did search, because I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Just in case you have a lot of different ones in there, you don't want to get confused.
So, but it does put the it does tell me the step number right here too. So I do know I'm pulling it from the 3. So now,
good.
How do I pick? Because that's got 2 of them there.
Now, so backspace that, and this is why we're gonna have to dig into it. So click the away from that.
Okay.
And then click where it says custom values / right after that /.
Okay.
Make sure, and then click get.
Yeah.
Get the customer, or no, number 3. Click where it says number 3. There's a down arrow.
Okay.
Okay. Show all options. And then let's see what it says. Custom value ID. Okay, click that. No, where it says custom values ID.
Okay.
Yeah, so click that. And then
now, does it have both of them or just one of them? It's got it still has both of them there.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You might have to do another intermediate step to parse all those out.
Interesting. Yeah. I guess previously I had done a more specific one. Let's scroll up a little bit.
You could hard code. The
exact. That's what I've done in the past is I've hard coded those custom value IDs.
So basically, I would just come in here and grab that, since I know that's the.
I'm sure there's a way to parse it, and there's a step where you can parse the data on Zapier.
How come I can't? I'm having troubles copying that out.
Maybe go to the previous steps, see if you can copy it more easily.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, if I actually go to, that thing, if I go to that custom value, and let's say I want to go edit it, Facebook page URL. If I go here to edit, is that it up there? That's the location ID.
No, it's one of the hidden values that you can't easily get.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, so we're trying to find that. Custom value. Okay.
Oh, go scroll up to the previous step. So scroll, that one. Bingo.
Which one do you think has it?
You go to test action. Okay. There you go.
Nice. So I basically want to grab that.
Yeah. And there is a Zapier tool to be able to parse and edit. It's just a whole nother tool.
Yep, I'm with you.
It depends on what you're doing. In this case, it's faster to do what you're doing right now.
So we have that. That basically identifies it. That was the one. And then
you can. You don't have to put that trailing / on there. It'll encode it. Yeah. So that's good.
Don't I actually need to put the value in here too? Like.
I'm going to show you that next. So click in the white space. Bingo.
Oh, right here.
And then, So
you're saying I don't have to do that.
Right.
Then I can get rid of that.
Yep. Don't need that.
And I stick that here, which was like Power Wheels parties, right? The Facebook.
The Facebook page URL. Bam.
Which is from step 1.
Yep.
Cool.
And then the destination API key. So you'll put in there you'll look up the locations API key again.
Is it the exact same one from before? Because it's
yeah, same one.
Yeah, okay.
But each request has to have the same thing in it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to go. It's from step 2, right?
Yeah.
It's from step 2. It was the locations API key. Awesome.
So one thing to pay attention to whenever you're doing a put request on Zapier, you'll notice it has content type application JSON in there.
Yeah.
So you don't need that on any GET request, but on a put request, you have to tell it what data you're sending to them and in what format you're sending.
Got it.
So under test or review, that's that. Once you click that button, it's sent it.
So if we refresh this, my Facebook, okay, this may not work. I'm not positive. I think it will.
It depends where you built the
exactly.
You built the page.
I was going to say. Exactly.
I think you built it in your agency account.
Yes, you're right. You're right. So if I come in here now, yes, you're right. You got to keep it all straight. So first of all, that's populated there, right?
Yeah.
But it worked. And now, I mean, no big deal, but basically to see the full thing, let's do it. So let's do miscellaneous here, opt-in. And then I'm going to have to grab that custom value. But we know. My Facebook page. So basically come in here, full width, 1 column, headline, my Facebook page is, custom underscore values. That's what it is. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
A custom underscore. So basically everything is custom.
Very close.
I do that, and then I preview that. There it is. Okay. So now the final test is I just got a new customer. I want to stand up a new client, and they have a different. Maybe theirs is Power Wheels, Florida. So I have a different client with a different custom value, and I am going to go and update that to Power Wheels Florida, hit submit, and now if I come back here, this should say Power Wheels Florida. We did it. All right, man, that was awesome.
If you want to put it on your YouTube, you can. Just feel free to edit out all the boring parts.
Yeah, and the API keys.
And the API keys, yeah. But yeah, as far as the Zap template too, I hope that you found that pretty useful. Yeah. It took a while to try to make that template functional. So what I'll do is, if you want to share that template as part of like a YouTube video, I'll just give you my link to my affiliates page, and then if you want to, I have a task list too where I basically take all of GoHighLevel's help docs, video, and do my own spin on like onboarding.
Oh, nice.
So a lot more in depth, a lot more like start to finish every single task. And I give that to anybody for free. People don't have to be an affiliate of mine. Whoever clicks my button, I send them a ClickUp task list full of stuff, full of useful information. And if they're clicking on it from you, then I'll definitely send them that Zap template if they wanted to. Okay.
Just send me any links that you want. So you have what kind of affiliate link is it? To Zapier? Or to
it's just a raw website. It's curatedaffiliates.com.
Okay.
It's just my landing page that I use. Curatedaffiliates.com/onboarding.
Okay. Send me any links, and I'll put it in the description of the YouTube video, and anywhere else if you want to send your Facebook Messenger or your Facebook URL, whatever you want to send to me, I'll put it on there.